Hello gamers, Muckluck here. Today is July 17th and there is some new Guild Wars 2 news that we need to share, and so I'm covering it now. Janthir Wilds Unleashed, the enhanced Warclaw mount. Now, really quickly, for anyone who might just be brand new to the game, just to make sure we're all on the same wavelength here, there are many mounts in Guild Wars 2. One of them is called the Warclaw. The Warclaw, which is a quadruped cat, there's many different skins for it here. The Warclaw is basically a mount that is usually used in World versus World. This is the default one. In open world, you can use it, but it's kind of just like a slower raptor with a little bit better turning. In World versus World, it has a lot of other abilities. Aren't all cats quadruped? No. Look at the Pokemon. Read the Bible. So it has a lot of other abilities. For example, like shooting harpoons at people to knock them off their mounts, or ripping, attaching chains to gates and ripping them off their hinges, things like that. So there's a lot of extra skills in the Guild Wars 2 World versus World scene, but outside of that, it's almost never used because it's just a worse mount than things like the Raptor or the Jackal. But in World v World, it is the only mount. So they have announced that they are going to be giving it a bit of a makeover to make it more desirable outside of World v World and acquirable outside of World v World. Last week, we laid out the basic premise of the story in Guild Wars 2 Janther Wilds, including an introduction to the lowland Kodan who live in the Janthir Isles. Did they mean to rhyme there? This week, we thought we'd take a closer look at the area you'll be exploring, plus another fuzzy denizen of the Janthir region, the Warclaw, which the lowland Kodan call Journeykin. And, okay, my first thought seeing this picture is we're going to raise it from an infant, a kitten. You too can join my Patreon and interrupt my news broadcast with weird sounds. My first thought is it's going to be raise it from a child, just like we did with the Sky Scale. Arriving at the lowland shore, your first forays into Janthir will take place on the lowland shore map. Oh my god. Booga booga! No booga booga. Where you'll be able to explore and get to know the locals within the time or coordination pressure of a large-scale map meta event. We designed this map to give everyone a change of pace from the epic scale of content you'll find in maps like Interneos and GW2 Soto. Instead, you'll be experiencing the lifestyle of the lowland Kodan colony that call the area home. Try training with spears with the locals and racing with local salmon as you enjoy the natural beauty of the area. I don't know about racing salmon, but there's a picture of that. Zooming out a little bit. Okay, and zoom back in. Into Janthir Century. As you push deeper into the wilds, you'll encounter more reminders of the region's dangerous reputation. Deep forest transition into sulfurous swamps that give way to volcanic terrain. Oh, it's Elden Ring. Ruins left by the ravages of time and a bloodstone crater speak of the White Mantle occupation in the times of the original Guild Wars. The barrier between this world and the mist has grown thin in Janthir Century, resulting in magical storms called mist tides that sweep the area. And strange creatures, known to scholars of Tyria's past as Titans, have begun appearing in greater numbers. Now, Titans are a big thing in Guild Wars 1, which I barely remember playing, so go talk to the other potato for information on the Titans. I know that like the big Wicker Man looking things that the Char make in various zones of the game is related to that. But beyond that, I can't give you like the itty-gritty details. And then there's a picture here of some ruins with like a statue in the back. That's like one of the White Mantle statues. Warclaw in the Wilds. While in Janthir, you'll have the opportunity to forge a bond with a Warclaw mount and train a new mastery line that grants you Warclaw new skills in PvE maps. The Warclaw is a highly mobile mount that can navigate with precision and agility over all kinds of terrain, and it also boasts some unique combat and exploration abilities. Chain Pull deals damage and pulls enemies closer. Battle Maul commands the Warclaw to leap forward and perform an area attack, stunning enemies at the center of the attack. Vidcam? Oh, there we go. All right, thank you. Sniff enhances nearby allies while detecting nearby enemies. With mastery training, Sniff also detects nearby treasure, which your Warclaw can help you dig up. Lance throws the spear to deal damage and knock down an enemy. So all of those are twists of abilities in World v World. For example, Battle Maul is the ability, like mini mounts have an ability where they do one attack and it dismounts you and the mount disappears as they do the attack. Battle Maul was one on the Warclaw. For a time period, it instantly killed anyone who was downstate. So if someone went downstate, then it would just be like 40 cats would pile on them. But then they ended up changing that. But so it does damage, does an AoE attack, does a stun now. Chain pull used to be, the chain for pulling, the gates off their hinges in World v World. Sniff is pretty much what it did in World v World with the addition of the treasure thing. And Lance was something, if you were on your Warclaw and chasing someone else and they were mounted, you could use Lance and it, like, threw a harpoon and it would, or Lance, knock the other guy off his mount and then you could dismount and then fight him. So it would be like forcing a fight on someone who was trying to run away from you. So all of these are twists on abilities that were already in the game in the World v World scene. And here are the Warclaw's mastery tiers. 9 lives. Take no fall damage while mounted on your Warclaw. The base Warclaw already has decreased fall damage. Feline reflexes. Extend your jump by hitting the spacebar again in mid-air, so it's a double jump. Wild claws. The Warclaw performs a hit on enemies when dodging through them. Hitting at least one foe gives you endurance at the end of the dodge. Interesting. Not sure how useful that'll be, having an attack that uses endurance, but then if you go to use Battle Maul, you get dismounted. But okay, I need to see it before I make a judgment call on that. Feral Fury, increased damage while mounted on the Warclaw. The Lance skill now stuns enemies and deals increased Defiance bar damage. Well Rested, increase the endurance regeneration for all mounts. That's huge. That is huge. Okay. World v World changes. When designing the Warclaw mount for PvE, we saw opportunities to improve how the Warclaw works in World v World. This refresh on the Warclaw experience comes from our evolving understanding of our mount system since we first implemented mounts. Whether you're taking over or defending your territory, the Warclaw will continue to be your steadfast companion with these updated skills. Chain Pull added a new effect, Weakened Frame, which amplifies damage inflicted on gates and walls. This will stack with structural vulnerability. Okay, so while it's pulling on the gate, if there's like a flame ram or something that's also smashing the gate, this will make it do more damage or something like that? That sounds cool. Sniff, in addition to its abilities, it will also highlight damaged gates and walls for both allied and enemy structures while you're in range. Lance increased to 2 charges. That's kind of neat because, again, Lance would be like you're on your mount there in front of you, you throw it to try to dismount them, but if they dodged that first throw, you would have to wait a very long time to try again. So now you'll hold a second charge, which will make dismounting people that are trying to get away from you much easier. Pre-purchasing any edition of Guild Wars 2 Janthir before the expansion launches will grant you the Homesteader title, Whispering Serpent's Pauldron skin, and a box with your choice of 1 Serpent's Wrath weapon skin. Visit the referral link in my description for full details on the items included in the Standard, Deluxe, and Ultimate editions with Muckluck's referral link. As long as you're on Standard Edition. Otherwise, if you're on Steam, you just gotta use the one on Steam. And then there's a picture of the Janthir Warclaw, which is right there. Yeah, that's it. Well, that kind of abruptly ended, didn't it? And then it just went into the copy pasta. So, yeah, that's it. That's what we know so far. Interesting stuff. This is really awesome, no matter who you are. More endurance rate on all mounts is fantastic. A little bit of QOL for World versus World, and some interesting stuff here. Now, I do not know how good this is going to be dependent on how much it's used. For example, if you're on the Jackal and you're leaping off a cliff and then you double tap the jump button and go backward, you will teleport backward. The Jackal can teleport in any direction in midair. I'm wondering if the double jump is going to be similar. Like if you already have forward momentum and you double jump backwards, can you just spring off of the air and then go backward? Or is it just going to be a second jump while retaining the same forward momentum? We don't know. But as far as like how mobile this is, I think Raptor and Roller Beetle are still going to be better at going forward, and I think the Bunny and the Skyscale are still going to be better at going up. So I'm guessing that this is going to just be trying to hit like a sweet spot middle ground, like just an all-purpose type thing. And then 9 lives, no fall damage. So if the area has a lot of cliffs, you're not going to care. Better CC than Bunny, maybe. I think for CC, a lot of folks are using the turtle right now because you could just keep hitting the slam over and over and over and over and over. There's some rare situations you use the bunny, but I feel like the bunny is one of the only mounts that gets completely phased out when you have every mount. It has a few very niche roles, but that's it. But this though, I think Wild Claws, or sorry, Battle Maul is going to dismount you, and it stuns enemies. But then I don't think the Lance does. So if the Lance does a knockdown, then this is a CC that doesn't dismount you, and then you've got another CC that does, I would assume. So there is going to be an amount of CC that you could do very quickly on this before dismounting. So we'll see. Yeah, all right, so that's it. That's all the news that we've got on this topic today. If you've got any questions, problems, thoughts, concerns, or anything that you see that I missed, please throw it in the comment section down below, and I'll fight you there.